Hey dudes, what's good? WMG here, and welcome to the very first video for how to start a saltwater aquarium series. So, the first video that I thought would be appropriate would be the cycling video. Now, before you start doing anything, you've probably done research and came across this thing called cycling, and you probably heard about it takes a long time and you have to do it nice and properly, which is true. So the reason I have this as the very first video is because this process takes a while to do it well. Um, you might as well get started on it before anything. So, um, first thing I'll be doing is explaining to you guys actually about cycling and what happens in cycling and the reason for cycling. So, cycling is the process of building up beneficial bacteria inside your aquarium um, so that it will aid with filtration. Filtration, of course, is important for taking um, excess nutrients and breaking down these nutrients into compounds that are less stressful for the fish and corals. These beneficial bacteria actually will live on pretty much every surface of your aquarium. Everything from the glass of your tank, your filtration, of course, um, even on the calcium carbonate structures of corals, but especially inside your live rock, which is why you've probably noticed everybody says live rock is very important. In this tank that I have about, I'd say about maybe five pounds of live rock, which is actually quite a bit. It's only a 3-gallon tank, but it's usually up to you how much you want to do, but I recommend 1 pound per gallon, and you can do that into your sump as well, so you don't see so much rock. So here we are at the board of inventing again, and I'm going to be drawing out for you and explaining the cycling process. It's super simple, so you just need to get a basic idea. So here's a tank, and draw a little water line here, and see if you guys can see that. Can you guys see that? Yeah, good. Okay, so we've got a fish here, right? We've got another fish. And a lot of people do decide to do sand bed, so let me just put a sand bed here. That will also aid in filtration. Let me draw some live rock, since this will be your major part of your filtration, which is why flow is important, and we'll go over that in another video. So basically what happens here is that your fish, every livestock you have will produce waste, and the waste will go into the water column and onto your rocks and onto your sand bed, and this will be released in the form of ammonia. Now your little fish here, named Bubbles, will produce, like I said before, ammonia, which is toxic at high concentrations. So Bubbles here is going to release ammonia into the tank. Okay. Now, this beneficial bacteria is very important because it's actually going to take this ammonia and break it down into less deadly substances. Okay? So the bacteria here is going to, the bacteria is going to feed off of the ammonia here, and it's going to produce something called nitrite. Okay, and this nitrite right here, nitrite. Now this nitrite is also not too good at high quantities, at high concentrations. It is also deadly. Um, Now, it's going to be further broken down into something a lot less deadly, a lot less stressful, and it's going to produce nitrates, right? I'm sure you've heard about this. They also call this like the nitrifying uh, cycle thing, nitrifying thing. Anyway, um, so at that point is when you do your normal water changes and take out this nitrate from your tank. So that's a basic rundown of the cycling. But basically, all you really need to know is ammonia deadly, nitrate still deadly, and it'll produce nitrates because of bacteria. Now, in just a second, we'll go down to my basement and where I'm cycling some water and some rocks so that you can see what's going on. All right, so we're here. We've made it down to the basement. We're sitting here next to the trash can, and well, this guy is full of salt water. Now, this is salt water that I mixed myself a long time ago, probably about like 6 months ago. Of course, it's not the same exact water. Um, I've done small water changes to it just so that um, it wouldn't be reusing the same water again. Just to put some good fresh water in there. So the reason why I'm cycling the tank here is because you want to build up this beneficial bacteria, right? So you're gonna need to start off by putting water into a container. A dark container is good, and you can see here I've mixed it with this with it's the ocean salt, um, which is, I think it's pretty good. I like it. I haven't come across any problems with it. Um, it's a good product. So, as I was saying, this guy is filled with the water that is cycling, and I think that before you do anything really, you should think about how big you want your tank and how much water there's going to be in your tank, and this is really going to decide how long you're going to be spending cycling your water. Now this is just a rough estimate, okay? You just have to just guess. I'm saying that this is the first step because this takes such a long time, and most people just they can't wait that long. So before you do anything, really, if you're thinking, oh, I want a 40-gallon breeder in my living room, um, before you really do any research or anything, just grab one of these things, 40, 50 gallons, and get yourself some dry live rock, and put it in there, um, and let it start cycling because it's a long process. It's gonna take a long time, so you might as well start doing it before you get anything set up. Now, the other way you can start cycling the tank is by getting one of these guys here. Okay, now this is, and I'll put it in the picture above, this is Dr. Tim's one and only nitrifying bacteria in a bottle. Now this, you'd put it inside your aquarium with your rocks set up already, and that'll just take a few days. Now a lot of people opt for this one, but I actually like doing it inside the trash can. So let's open this guy up and see what's going on inside of it. Okay, so we're gonna open this up. Um, just got to be a little bit careful since there's some evaporation and the water will just will condensate onto the top. So just gotta make sure you don't spill some water here. Now, like I said before, this water has been here for about 6 months. Now I have been doing water changes on this guy just to make sure um, it's kept nice and fresh. Uh, and as you can see here, I've got some wires leading into it. Let me give you guys a better angle here. I've got some wires leading into it, and that is because I've got a power head down at the bottom. You can kind of see the ripples of the water. I've got a power head at the bottom because you need to agitate the water, and I've got a heater in there. Now, when you're cycling the water like this, it's recommended that you keep the temperature at about like at 86 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, because this is like the optimal temperature for nitrifying bacteria to start building up. So as you can see, I have them in there, and it's been on this whole time for this past 6 months, and it's done. It's done. I've tested the water. Everything is nice and cycled. Now, when you're doing this, you should be not filtering. Sorry, you should be feeding this thing so that the beneficial bacteria build their population to the size that's going to be taking care of the amount of food you're expected to feed. Okay. Um, I took one of these rocks out so you could see it. It doesn't. You see how it? There's no algae on it. It looks pretty much clean, and it doesn't smell like like ammonia. It smells like salt water. That's another indicator. When you start cycling and you put something dead inside, you have to start the process by putting something dead inside. Some people do use water, not water. Some people do use fish to cycle their tanks, but um, I'm not super for it, just because it when the ammonia builds up, it's gonna really put the fish under stress. And the whole reason why we do this hobby is because we love the fish and the life in there. So I don't really believe in harming these fish. They're our friends, right? So um, I think this is the best way of cycling, and this is the way that I would recommend. You can also use the nitrifying bacteria in a bottle. That's completely fine as well. Just got to make sure you follow those directions um, to the point. All right, guys. So just to recap, we've learned that beneficial bacteria is very important in the aquarium because it takes the ammonia from the fish and breaks it down eventually into nitrates, which will become much less harmful to the fish. And at that point, you do your water changes. Okay, we've also learned that a really good way for cycling your tank is in a dark environment, so so that algae won't grow and you don't start getting new tank syndrome is what they call it. So a very good way to do it is in a trash can where it's dark, and you put your rock inside and you just let it agitate there for a while with a pump and a heater at 76 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit for a couple of months. You can also add the nitrifying bacteria just to speed this process up if you really do want to. Now, I had a lot of time, and I've been planning this for a long time, gathering parts and everything that you will see, and I'm very excited to show you that later. So, like I said, I've had a long time to think about it. It's up to you completely how you want to do it. Now, this is just the way that we here me and my friends here recommend to do it. So that is up to you. And that's all the time that I have for this episode. Please like this video if you think the series is a good idea. Please put ideas in the comments below what you think should be the next video of the series. And don't forget to subscribe so that you're always posted on these new videos that are going to be coming out about the series. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to wait up for the next video, and I will see you then.